welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And all the way back from Asia, we got Ron.
What's happening?
In his swanky new Blue Samurai Japanese national kit.
Man, that's a sharp looking
It
kit.
is awesome looking. That crest is so cool.
It is.
I just want a shirt with the crest on it. That thing's awesome looking.
It's badass. It's so comfortable. It fits well. And it's just the most comfortable kit I've ever owned.
It's a nice color blue too.
Yeah.
And you look like you're wearing armor, so you just can fight people.
I know.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's right, because this is all about World Cup today.
Finally here.
Oh, man. It's like...
It's Christmas for a month.
Every day there's been soccer.
And it's
good
been
soccer,
good
too.
soccer.
Yeah.
I might have taken a 3-day weekend and just pretty much like the whole time through. In fact, for the England game, my little one wanted to, she's starting to crawl. So I literally just put the iPad down on the floor and she tried to crawl to it to tag, and I just kept moving it around the floor. So they're like,
Awesome.
in the match. Like, but it's been the best, man. And the time frame, if you're a Premier League fan, is perfect. Yeah, 7 a.m. or 11 a.m. and then 2 a.m., roughly that's perfect, man.
8, 11, and 2.
Or 8, 11 and 2, yeah.
Awesome.
If you're on the West Coast, however, though, you're
Owned.
you're getting screwed.
It's one thing to do that on one day of the weekend. It's another if you're trying to really catch all
Your
those.
first match is 5 a.m.
But man, it's been great. We're gonna get into the details of it, but it's just awesome to have matches every single day. It reminds me back, when we were doing the Euros the other year. It's like, it's so nice to just have all this soccer on constantly. But this is great. I've been able to catch a ton of matches. Because even like letting work once lunch hits, you usually can catch second half of whatever the 11 a.m. match is.
Yeah, and all of it has been quality. There hasn't been a match where I was like, me, whatever.
What there's not been a match that's been whatever, but there's been a match that I've been like, whatever. What is happening right now? We'll talk about those in a minute. What's happening? Boom. Okay, so we're gonna talk about World Cup, but first we gotta talk about beer. Da beer.
Da beers.
Which is Ron's pick. Bum, because he's been out of the country so much. We've been having to do all the heavy lifting for the brews.
We did enjoy some though as well.
We did.
Yeah.
And actually, while Ron was
Wasn't
not
all
here,
heavy
we
lifting.
enjoyed some Crooked Can beers with Mr. Matt Call.
Yes, we did.
From Atlanta.
Yes, we certainly did.
Yeah.
We got we had an awesome time with him.
Yeah, it was a great time. Thank you again for the Portland Timber scarf you had gotten.
Yeah, no pity.
Yeah, man. So awesome.
And thank you to the gentleman that walked by and photobombed us as we were about ready to.
There's some. The one we put on Twitter is not the first picture we took. Some
really?
rando photobombed in front of us, like jumped out.
We all didn't care. We still just went with it anyways.
He was like in a suit. It was weird.
No, it was an awesome time. Just hanging out, having some beers, talking soccer, talking about life.
What was great is that he was down visiting.
Cool dude.
It allowed us to ignore the Orlando game that was on.
We lost 2-0.
Less said about that, the better.
That
3-0
sounds about right,
maybe?
actually.
Yeah.
2 or 3-0.
We were sitting because we couldn't where our seats were. It was hard to see the TV. Like, maybe but hey, we're here. We're gonna hang out with him. And then it was like, who cares? It's fine that we can't see the TV. It's just let's talk to us. Tell us about you, man. We don't want to talk about
Let's
Orlando.
talk about
right now.
World Cup and everything else that's going on.
Let's talk about, World Cup. Let's talk about everything else. Let's talk about this awesome beer.
Before we do that, though, I do want to ask Matt one question. If you could tweet us back, Portland and Atlanta are, I think, the Fox game this week. I know you support both. Who you got?
Oh yeah, who's he gonna snag?
Send us a tweet.
It was a good time though.
A lot of fun.
I always love going to Cookie Can for a match.
Oh, yeah.
Or ignoring a match and hanging out with friends.
True.
Yeah, I wish I was there. I was really enjoying Japan, but I did wish I saw that you guys put the tweet out, and I was like, man, I didn't get to go.
A lot of fun.
It was a blast. But finally, that means you got the beer pick.
I does. It's a new brewery to the pod, and one of mine and Blake's favorite beers on the entire planet.
But it's a brewery we've never done, you said?
Yeah, we haven't done one.
This is crazy.
And I'm actually really surprised it's never been on the pod. It's perfect for the World Cup, and you'll know why in a second. But it's from North Coast Brewing in California, Mendocino.
Oh, yeah, Mendocino, California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool brewery. They've been around since 1998. They've won, hundreds of awards and on their beers, national and international competitions. They're also a leader in philanthropy and sustainability in California. So in addition to being a certified B corporation, which is like benefit corporation, the brewery is proud to be a true platinum zero waste certified brewery, offering 14 non-GMO project verified beers, which is super cool.
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
They have a very clean carbon footprint, and they make amazing beers. So this is a bit of a World Cup theme because it's
I'm so curious. Who'd you say the brewery was again?
it is North Coast Brewing,
I feel like
which is
heard.
I'm going to hear this and be like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what.
yeah. They have a very popular beer called Red Seal,
Yeah. Oh,
and then the other very popular beer is the one that I brought.
we've not done this.
Nope, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
think I do.
It is a Russian Imperial Stout.
Since
Russia, can we had
perfect.
all imperial stouts on the World Cup beer
Correct.
preview? Yeah.
Old Rasputin.
Oh,
It is one of the better stouts you can get in the
okay,
entire
yeah.
USA. Rate Beer has it at 100 and a 99 for style.
has been a long time since I've had the Rasputin beer.
And so there's some cool stuff about the Rasputin and Russian Imperial Stout, and I want to read this to you. It's on the 4-pack side of their all the printing on the 4-pack carrying case. So Old Rasputin, contrary to what the name suggests, the Russian Imperial Stout was originally brewed in the 18th century England. The name evolved as the Russian Imperial Court developed an early appreciation for this big, intense brew and provided an eager export market. So it really takes off in Russia, and so that's really why it becomes a Russian Imperial Stout when they first make it. It's been speculated that no one had a greater appreciation for this rich, roasty elixir than Rasputin. He was a mystic and a court seer. And
If there's a podcast called Dan Cummins, Time Suck with Dan Cummins, comedian who goes deep dives into different like historical whatever things, the one on Rasputin
is crazy.
is awesome. It's very R-rated
Yeah.
because Home Slice did some
He's some-
weird things.
He was freaky.
He managed to convince a lot of people that he could help them out if they helped him out. It was a very
And we use the term helped him out very loosely.
Yeah. Rasputin was and then tied to the what's the Russian family?
Romanov.
The Romanovs that ended up
Right.
getting killed in the Russian Revolution. Yeah, Rasputin. Just if you don't know about Rasputin,
So, so it's speculated that no one had a greater appreciation for this than Rasputin, who was the ultimate downfall of Tsar Nicholas II. Rasputin is probably best remembered for his dramatic exit. Having been deemed politically expendable, he was fed poison, wine, and tea cakes by his rivals. He survived that. Then there was an assassination attempt, and this nice young prostitute gutted him like a fish.
Jesus.
He survived that. Then he was shot several times, whereupon still went and attacked his assailants. And then he finally succumbed when he was bound and stuffed through a hole in the ice and drowned in the river.
they think.
That's the speculation.
Unless you listen to the old North Wind and you hear
Sound like Klopp there for a second.
yeah, no, that's Rasputin, dude. Just that's a Wikipedia time or rabbit hole you can go down real quick.
Yeah.
The
really.
OG badass over there.
Yeah, old Rasputin.
One for you,
man,
Blake.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, I definitely have seen this before.
Oh, this
Ferris?
is so
Oh, God bless you.
appropriate, Ron.
God, look at that mean mother.
And one for me.
Boom, this is so appropriate.
And that's a famous picture of Rasputin right there on the label. He's kind of waving
Hell of a beard.
waving to someone. And it's crazy to think that, in 1917, old Rasputin himself was still walking the planet.
oh yeah,
I think of him as like way back in the day.
This story is crazy
But-
though. I am mystic. I will tell future and save child, give me 12 more kegs of beer. It's like that is how it works. This is perfect. This is a perfect beer.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've ever had a Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh,
Oh
so
man,
good.
it's the best. So North Coast Brewing, Old Rasputin, Russian Imperial Stout. All right, gents, shall we
Yeah.
do this?
It's just remember, it's a 9%
Oh, yeah.
9% of the time, every time.
Every time. But wait.
Oh.
Gentlemen, there's more. It's like it's an Apple presentation up in here.
Yeah,
Right?
really.
Now, Ron brought a perfect beer. So what I'm about to present you, gentlemen, is also perfectly tied with this beer.
Blake Jobs. is
That's
going
right.
into
I've
the
had
bag.
this bag sitting on top of the desk that I told them they could not touch.
Did you say Blake Job?
Blake Jobs.
Whew, Blake Jobs.
So we're gonna have
Jobs.
to-
Because it's an Apple presentation.
All right. Here we go, guys. Ferris, I got you here. I need your undivided attention.
Okay.
Okay.
My apologies. Here we go.
All right. And these are ready to be used.
Oh, God almighty.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
Boom. Official 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia glasses.
Drinking glasses.
Yeah, these glasses shaped like a trophy. The bottom it looks like a crowd cheering along the bottom. It's got 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia on one side, and then the graphic for it on the other side. And
I see why you wanted Ron to only keep one glass here. A little tomfoolery
little-
over there.
Yeah, Ron's like, you guys want glasses? Nah,
No, we usually have it other. Yeah.
So here you go,
You just
gents.
say
Tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery.
So we're gonna have our Russian Imperial Stout
Okay, I can
in
see why I need to close
some
my
Russian
laptop.
glasses. There you go. Here goes. You'll notice there's a 4-pack. One is missing. And that's because our good buddy
The
Jason
Russians
Horn
stole it, though.
was delivered one this morning.
Oh, very cool.
awesome.
Very, very cool.
There you go.
Oh, those are cool.
That is sweet, man.
I stumbled across
is
these
perfect.
and was
You're
like,
right.
well, this is our glass for the rest of the World Cup.
Yep.
Like,
Those are awesome.
Ah, the
yeah.
man.
Man, if I was on top of it, I'd had some Russian vodka in here too. But last time
Some Stolichnaya.
yeah. No, I got some stuff that's straight up
Have
like,
hair on your chest.
yeah. I got some stuff that was made by the proletariat. Like, I got some stuff that'll throw you off here.
Proletariat.
I think. All right, here we go. This glass is cool though.
Yeah,
It's
they
basically
are.
goes the bottom that looks like
People
it's
cheering
People
and-
cheering, yeah.
That's awesome.
A little old Rasputin in our Russian cups.
Ooh, that sucker's dark.
Oh, yep. That's some fabulous head retention.
Ah, thank you for noticing. That was the spirit of Rasputin.
Are you going to do the
pocket.
entire? Yeah.
The whole podcast.
Oh man, this
Ooh, that
beer,
baby's dark.
yeah, it is.
Nice.
Looks good in these here schwanky glasses.
Yeah, it does.
Some caramel.
I don't gotta get a good picture of this and
chocolatey notes.
Yeah, some nice. That roasted malt. That smells good.
Oh man,
Fort California.
and you know what, Ferris? If you ever want to give yourself a big treat, get this one time with a big old slab of chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's a
It's
great dessert
like-
I
stout.
didn't mean to bring the cake, man.
I'm on a
Oh,
diet.
no. Cheers, gentlemen,
Sláinte.
or Nastarovia. Right?
I have no idea.
I don't know. It sounded good. I
God
think
bless
that's
you.
what it is.
Ooh, that good.
Just wait, it keeps going.
Man,
Oh, that's a good beer.
that is just one of the finest Russian Imperial Stouts, definitely in America, that you'll get.
I don't even taste
Or
like
from
9%.
America. My God, that's good.
Oh, phenomenal.
Woo, doggy, that's good.
That's so good.
Ooh, Nelly.
Oh man,
So, one other thing. Since I was out,
but wait, there's more.
there is more.
Hang on.
There's more.
Rod Jobs up next.
Let's rewind that. But wait, there's more. So, one of the people that I work with was born in China, left China when he was 6, moved to Canada, and then moved to Japan. And he is a huge Tottenham soccer fan. He's a J-League fan, and he is a Chinese Super League fan. So he works with me in Japan, but will be working with me in Beijing. And he knows all the teams for the Super League and all that. So he's going to take me around and take me to all the the Beijing team and Shanghai's team. So
That's awesome.
he's
cool.
my ambassador into the Chinese Super League. So he and I were chatting a whole bunch. I told him I was going to go look for a soccer shop. He pointed me in the direction of the one I eventually went to. And that soccer shop was so cool. The Kamo soccer shop.
This is the one in Osaka.
Yeah, it was in Osaka, right near the Osaka City train station. And it's 2 floors. One floor was dedicated to all World Cup and the second floor was dedicated to everything else. It was awesome. They have MLS stuff there, La Liga, Bundesliga, EPL, like all these different.
Crazy.
I would never have expected in Osaka to
Not
have such
Osaka.
a.
I mean, it would have surprised me even in Tokyo, but you would think maybe
Yeah.
they're first. But that's cool. Like,
Yeah, it was super great. All the people were really nice. But it was just really fun to see, Atlanta United and Sporting KC stuff in Japan and people buying,
That's
MLS
awesome.
gear. So that was really cool. So while I was there, I had to pick up this cool Japanese kit. I also snagged a Japanese kit for our listener who won the fantasy league.
okay.
Yeah. So
Congrats.
congrats to you. I put a picture on Twitter at the store. So that's going to you tomorrow, Kim. So you should have it in a couple days. I think I think I think you'll have it before Japan's next game. I think.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Or at least close to.
Yeah.
Which would be the second game. Third game.
It'd be their second.
It'll be their
That's
second
true.
game.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So while I was there, of course, I had to snag some presents for the Brewtiful Game.
Oh man, good beer. We got glasses,
Yeah, we did
presents,
that.
more
Sweet.
prezzies.
Okay, so for Ferris,
Oh yes.
Oh,
scarf for the
To go with my
Kashima
jersey.
antlers.
I follow them on Instagram. Love it. Don't understand a word they type below, but love it. They all look very happy and fun. That's sweet, man.
And then for Blake,
Oh, I love the antlers.
what we got over here?
the national team scarf for
that is
Japan.
samurai. It says samurai blue. Japan national team. That is awesome, man.
And then I got myself a scarf too.
That is awesome. Is that a different one? Is that like this one?
It's got the national team logo on it.
That is
Yours
awesome.
has
Oh,
the-
it's the logo's on the
No, right
stuff,
here.
but it's got the
Yeah.
national or it's got
So
the
you
flag.
have the flag of Japan, and this one has the Japan national team
This is
crest.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, and they're like towels.
Yeah, they are. It's just different
They're
feeling.
not
than,
like-
Yeah, it's very interesting. I like it though.
They're not like knit scarves. They're
well,
more
seeing
like
as how
towels.
the game, I tend to use mine as a towel. It's kind
Yeah,
of
right.
appropriate. Like, that's awesome, dude. Thank you, man. We're getting some like
I love it.
international on our
Kashima
On our
antlers
collection
since
of
1991.
scarves.
OPP, you don't know me.
We have got to build our
That's how it came
scarf,
out.
our scarf display shelves or whatever. We've got to get on that.
And then no one can really see it, but I'm going to show the guys in the studio. This is the jersey,
Oh, it's his kid.
and it's got. I don't want to say what it has on it
Okay.
It'll
because
be a surprise. when it
it's
gets
going to
there.
be a surprise when he gets it. But there's his kit going in the mail tomorrow.
That's awesome. Can't believe that he won the fantasy league, is a Japanese national team fan, and you were in Japan. That worked out
Yeah.
perfect.
And actually, I
We're
ended
gonna
up
plan ahead here on the Brewtiful Game.
Yeah, it was all
we're
planned.
clairvoyant. I went to 2 soccer shops and they didn't have any Japan national team gear, so I had to trek into the back of Osaka to find this shop. And I guess no one, maybe no one knew it was there because they had a ton of gear.
This scarf is awesome though. Like the stitching on the Japanese flag,
Yeah.
this thing is solid. Ooh wee, that's awesome.
Yep. Japanese Football Association.
That's awesome. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, anytime.
Cheers, man.
That's my thing, being the foreign correspondent.
What is cheers in
Kampai.
Kampai? I like that one.
Mm.
That's
Oh,
good
man.
drinking, Clark.
Man, that beer is delicious.
Okay.
Speaking of that, whoever you are that just left a review on iTunes for us that
So
referenced Clark Griswold from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, you rock. Let us know who you are so we can get a koozie or if we've got any magnets left, something out to you. Drop a line.
Yeah,
If your name is actually Clark, that's even better.
Yeah. That's
that would be great.
Oh man, this
But
beer.
that comment was fantastic. Thank you so much. That made all of us just ecstatic. That's great. That's the reason why we do the podcast.
Yeah, if you go check, it's our latest review that's on iTunes. It made me very happy.
Well, that and we like to drink beer and talk soccer.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that too. Speaking, dude, this beer is so good.
It's my favorite.
I dig this glass. It's like this World Cup glass. It
fits good in your hand.
Well, it's like a cross between a traditional Pilsner glass and one of the tulip glasses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because of the way it's shaped like a trophy. So it's squatter. At first I thought, is this even going to hold 12 ounces? Because it's short, but it's the top of it's a lot bigger than you realize. This is
I had a
awesome.
nickel.
Oh,
Every
man.
damn time.
Couldn't resist.
Well, I suppose it's time to move on to the football, gentlemen.
To the World Cup.
Man, first off, let's just say this. It's been awesome. There hasn't really been a stinker. It started so strong, even if the first one was a blowout because no one expected Russia to score 5 goals. So that became entertaining in and of itself.
Yeah.
We don't know how much money exchanged hands between the Saudi prince and
Right.
Putin, but, it was still something to see for that opening match.
Did you guys see at the end of the opening match, there was I've never seen this in any of the international sports before, but there was a guy with one of those vests on, and it said Anti-Doping Commission. And they were randomly selecting players from both teams to go get to check for doping after the match. Like hang around the pitch and all that, and then when you're walking back in, they just grabbed like 4 or 5 players right to the test.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until the FSB stops you and says, you will not go in there.
And I think they do that for the Olympics as well. They do that a lot.
Yeah.
For any of the international type stuff, they always have that anti-doping committee all over it.
And I mean, that kind of it opens up to kind of run through the matches, but that have played so far. We're recording this on Wednesday evening, or sorry, Thursday evening. Jeez,
Thursday the 21st.
Yes. So opening match with Russia, Saudi Arabia, 2 teams not rated to do well in the group, although
a lot
now
a lot of people's picked not even to get out of the group.
Yeah, we're these 2. We're Saudi Arabia and Russia, and Russia scores 5 goals against Saudi Arabia. And it's probably true that Saudi Arabia, I think they're done at this point. I don't think they can.
They lost yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think they can crawl out of.
Who did they lose to yesterday? Do you remember?
I don't know, but you got Russia sitting in that group with 6 points. There's no way they're going to crawl out of it. Saudi Arabia too. Also, was that the team that plane caught on fire?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
They lost an engine.
Yeah, and the players were taking video of it, and the thing is on fire. I mean, they landed fine, everybody was fine, but whoa, that was crazy.
This tournament's on fire.
And it was figuratively.
That's why you sing usually.
And literally. But no, that opening match, that was a shocker. I mean, 5 goals for Russia. I think the bigger shocker was that they continued and won their second match, which do you have that listed on here as well?
I'm sorry, for what?
Russia's next match after that?
No, I do not. I've tried just to pick so we don't go and cover all the games because we'd be here all day long.
They won their second
game.
match.
Did win their second match at 3-1 against Egypt 2 days ago.
And that was kind of a big shocker because I think we all thought Egypt had a better chance to do something. They've not either.
No, and I mean, this is what Russia needed to give themselves a chance out the gate with a big win. Not just a win, a big win. They put 5 away. Yes, it's against Saudi Arabia, one of the weaker teams in the tournament.
It's your
but you
home.
needed to do this at home.
It's the
tide for not just the tournament, but the tide for how you then advance. It gets the crowd behind you. It gets the homeland, behind you, and you go into the next game with so much confidence. And they came out and they did that. I think they surprised everybody because they didn't. Everything leading up to the World Cups, they have played terrible. They really have not looked good. They've played just complacent and not with a lot of energy. And maybe it's because they knew that they would automatically get in. But for what I mean, that first game they came out just firing on all cylinders and started off early off of a corner. And then just built from there, and then
Speaking
a
of
couple
that,
of late goals to finish it off at 5-0. But
they started something that would continue, set piece goals.
Yeah,
through this entire World Cup so far. They kind of kicked that off.
And you usually see that a lot. You're starting to see it a little bit more so now, as well as a lot of 1-0 games, because everybody's afraid to lose. Nobody really wants to lose at this stage and really have their hopes and their possibility of getting out of the group just cut. So teams are playing a little bit more conservative, and that causes crosses to be easily defended and kicked out of bounds. It gives you a set piece, and so set pieces sometimes. And I think one of the directives to the refs this year was if you see any of that pulling in the box, automatically give it a card. Just it's a penalty, it's a card.
End it.
And end it. So I think a lot of teams are kind of backing off of that a bit, where corners usually see that jostling a lot. And there has been, yes, but not quite to the extent as you see probably in the Premier League or MLS even. It's backed off a little bit, so it's opened up some space. And you're right, this first goal and a lot of goals in the tournament have come off of these set piece type games where the play is just standstill. But due to, I think, the fear of being carded or being penalty, there's not quite the physical battle in there, so it allows room for the people to get into the box and get themselves some space.
It's also stopping them from really covering each other so well. I mean, look at Harry Kane's last goal in the England match.
Right.
I mean, he just drifted into wide open space, and you can also say that was some poor defending, sure. But what you're saying to Ferris's point is that it's much less physical in the box.
Like the Dixie Chicks, there's a lot of wide open spaces.
I was about to sing that a second ago, but I couldn't remember what the damn words were.
Wide open
I'm in like a
spaces.
singing mood for this. Yeah. Is that just how it goes?
I mean, those are the lyrics, right?
Yeah. Are they still around? What the hell happened to them?
Oh, they still do stuff.
Do they?
Yeah, they do things.
Terrible for them.
They play music.
Good for them.
Moving on to
Wait. You got to read the World Cup.
Oh, sorry. The headline written by Ferris. Russia for the Russian Saudi Arabia game. Russia run rampant in the motherland capital to open the tournament.
They get better, I promise you. I just like the Russia run rampant. The motherland got a little shout out in there too.
So the next match was the one that I think set the tone for how good this World Cup's going to be. Absolutely. And that was Portugal and Spain in a 3-3 shootout that I don't think that's not what I anticipated like this match to be.
Guys, Diego Costa wasn't a complete
No, he wasn't. He just scored well.
But he wasn't slapping players.
No.
And,
he didn't get caught. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I mean, it's tough to do that on the world stage.
Somebody had that on at work. Like, man, I'm trying. I just can't look at him without hating him. I'm sorry. Like,
it's true.
And he was kind of the talk of the game for a little while there because, you didn't know if he was going to start. Because Spain usually play a false nine-ish, or at least they have been in the past several years, and haven't really had that real number 9 up front. But he played that very well. He took his goals very, very well.
No, he was great.
And it made for a really, really fun game. You go into the half with Portugal going up 2-1. On the Portugal side of things, both goals scored by CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo.
And in fabulous
like,
style.
Top of his
Won a
form,
penalty,
like,
which I believe he caused. Like, he got himself in the box. He got tripped. And then the second goal right before half was a goalkeeping error, oddly enough, by David De Gea, where he kind of just fumbled it, but still nonetheless a good hard shot. Cristiano Ronaldo is doing this at age 33, folks. And he has 2 goals against Spain. Not against Saudi Arabia, not against Iran or the USA, but against Spain in the World Cup. 2 goals going into half. And then that just kind of paved the way for what would be a even better second half.
But this does bring up something interesting when it comes to Spain. And that's them firing their coach just prior to
2
World
days
Cup starting.
right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. In that first half, ain't nobody was thinking that. Because, yes, Portugal went up, but Spain was playing a very lovely style of ball, and they were playing very,
But it
very
definitely
well.
started something bad, which is if they went out early, if they were to get knocked out early,
Yep.
that move would have looked so dumb and petty.
Well, it's still up for debate.
I still think it looks dumb and petty.
They
but-
only drew.
Yeah. Well, they did, and they won.
And they won yesterday,
against
1-0.
Iran.
Yeah.
That's the team they should have beat.
They squeaked by in that
They
one.
squeaked. That's the crazy
They
thing.
squeaked by in that
Yeah.
one.
That was like
Put 3 goals past Portugal, but barely squeaked by Iran. That's not, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that
Not only that, wait a minute. If I'm correct, doesn't that goal? Oh, it was Diego Costa in the 54th. Okay. Yeah. That's for that goal against Iran.
yeah, I would say that Spain's not out of the woods. They're at the top of the group for a win and a draw. But if they don't do very well, if they get knocked out right out of group, it's still going to be on the chairman's head that they didn't get very far. In my opinion, so the Spanish Football Federation essentially canned that coach because he got another job.
He took the job at Real Madrid.
Right.
And now the coach in Real Madrid say, we told them we were talking.
Yeah, but that puts everybody in a tough situation.
But even
because
so,
your mind needs to be 100% focused on the task at hand, which is the World Cup. And I think
Real
the Federation
Madrid
went, because you just got your head turned by Real Madrid, the biggest club team in the world. And we don't know if you're going to be 100% into the Spain
I think that's
team.
crap.
Yeah, because Real Madrid made it clear that they were like, no, let him. We don't want him to do anything with us while he does. While he
You
is.
still have players
course
who are
Madrid's gonna say that.
players who are playing in the World Cup who were in different teams before the World Cup and are going to other teams. Are you going to say that their heads are not in the World Cup?
And you know
Yes,
what?
but
Also,
the coach on the national team level is so crucial. Look at Iceland. They would
Okay.
not be where they're at without his coach.
But that's what I'm saying. But guess what?
Germany. I mean,
with the team that Real Madrid has, they can wait another month for his head gets turned on to Real Madrid. They're
But
fine.
can
They're
they?
fine. Yeah, Real Madrid. Yeah, they got a good team. They're
yes,
fine.
they do. So
Guys,
so do Spain though. Spain having a very good, amazing.
Yeah. What's your point? So
National
you're
team.
making my point.
My
They
point
should have
is
just left him there.
But my point is there could have been a big case of senioritis with the coach of being 1 foot out the door and looking
dude.
at
On the
what's
World
ahead.
Cup? On the World Cup? No way.
It's easy to sitting here, but who's to say
Did
that
you
he
see the
didn't
interview
think
with
that way?
him? He said it was the worst day of his life. He wanted to coach in the World Cup. It crushed him.
Okay, well then wait to accept the job after the World Cup. Sorry.
Can't. Well, but if they are negotiating in good faith and the national
Okay,
team
so then you
knows,
can negotiate. If you want me that bad, let's wait till after the World Cup and announce it then. I can't blame the Spain
I can.
Federation
I
for
do
doing
too.
what they did.
Yeah,
I can't at all.
especially when they lose, guess who's going to blame them? They ain't going to go far. If they make it
You
into
don't know that.
if they make it to knockouts,
They're tied for the top of the table right now in Group B. They get out of the group. That's what the other coach would have done. But there was no guarantee that
'Cause they
the other
barely-
coach would go to the finals or win the thing or any.
because
So
they barely beat Iran.
I think if they didn't get out of the group, then it would be a bad call and a bad move. But that's not proving to be the case at the current time.
I think if they get knocked out of the initial knockout phase, they're still going to look bad.
I think
Considering
at that
they went
point-
from favorite to
The bookies dropped them like a rock.
yeah, it was just what a dumb decision. I don't agree with Ferris at all.
No.
Sorry, Ferris.
clearly, what
Yeah,
a dumb
but-
decision.
Like just
But you,
at this point, even if it's pissed you off, you go, "We'd have to ride this
But
out."
Spain still played in this game in particular. They still played some of the best football we've seen in this tournament yet, and especially in that first half. The way they move the ball, the way Isco and Sergio Busquets, I mean, and Diego Costa, his form, the way they did all of that, they played very well, regardless of who the coach was. So to me, that says, okay, the style of play and the team wasn't completely thinking about, oh, we just lost a coach. It had nothing to do with that. So I can't blame Spain going, you know what? We don't know if you're 100% into this.
Coach make a team 10% better or 90% worse.
But that's yet to prove in any sort of case in this yet. Because if they get out of the group, that's all that they wanted the last coach, I can't remember his name right now, Lupa something. That's all they wanted him to do. So if they get out of the group, or at least that's what they would have expected from him, not what they wanted him to do, but what they would have expected from him. So if this new coach can still do that, then it's a wash in my eyes.
It's a dumb wash.
You're a dumb wash.
your face is a dumb wash.
Stupid wash. It's what kind of wash it is. But it was an amazing game. Holy crap.
Second half,
6 goals.
holy crap! I was sitting at work and It was getting ready to storm outside, and it was going into halftime, and I looked, and I went, you know what? I'm going to go watch the game someplace else. I've already worked my hours for the week by far. I'm going to watch the game somewhere else. And man, was I not disappointed. I don't think anybody was, because this is probably the best game of the tournament thus far. There was another 3 goals in the second half. A wonderful goal by Nacho. A world-class volley that up until the very last goal in this game could have possibly been the best goal we've seen in the tournament to date. A wonderful strike.
I did get confirmation that a coworker listens to our show. When the Nacho goal went in, I went, yes, Stock and Nacho, Ian Nacho shack just went up. And they died laughing because they knew exactly what I was talking about. I was like, that just made me super happy. You know that stupid joke. You do listen to
but this is right. This is not Nacho Monreal.
No, I know.
This is Nacho and then a lot of words after
but this is the new Nacho we're adding to the Nacho, Ian Nacho sack.
You have to. And with a strike like that,
we'll take all the nachos you want.
His bag is on special.
Are you a good Nacho? Are you a Nacho that was great and retired? We'll take you all.
Yeah. He's the spicy Nacho.
Yeah, we got this, man.
Oh, the spicy Nacho kick that he had. Oh.
Yeah, that's the combo meal.
That's the combo meal.
The spicy nacho kit.
The spicy nacho kit. Then this combo meal kit.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
got a little kick sauce to that, too.
We got our retirement plan, guys.
Yes, we do. And then
damn, this beer's
the
good.
stage was perfectly set in the 88th minute. Spain up 3-2. Cristiano Ronaldo with already 2 goals. 88th, free kick just outside the box. Almost a perfect free kick spot. And he does his patented wide stance, arms out, breathing heavy. And then the ref backs into him and he kind of has to get out of that. Which is kind of weird. Like, oh man, did that just ruin his mojo, mindset there? Right. Yeah, what's going on? And then, God almighty, that man not only looks like a damn god, but hit the ball like a god. In the 88th minute, with your team down 3-2 in the biggest stage in world soccer, to complete your hat trick against Spain, and you hit that free kick, also against quite possibly the world's best goalie in David De Gea, you flat-footed him. An amazing goal. Amazing goal. You can't even fathom what he just did. And by the way, he's 33 years old. I'm 33. I couldn't even walk out to the pitch without falling over the damn lines.
It shut me up. I was like, to have had 2 goals like this so close together, like Gareth Bale's bicycle kick at the Champions League.
Yeah.
Where I was like, holy crap. We just see that? And to have that feeling within less than a month apart. Yeah. Again, we're just like, what did I just see? Like,
it's unbelievable.
And this is where you felt, well, the rest of the week will be downhill. But this actually just kept, like, this momentum kicked off with these matches, and it rolled. This World Cup has been amazing.
We had 11 goals in 2 games at this point.
That's nuts. But in the next game, there would be 2 more goals. Buddy. This next game. I know the Iceland clap is hard to pull off in an audio format.
You're trying to do it in front of the mic. Ron's doing it behind his head. I'm trying to get it over the mic.
Argentina, Iceland. We had said it. We were fans of Iceland. Their story. Will they? This is a tough group they're in.
Are they going to be able to show up against the likes of their group and repeat what they've been doing, what they did in the Euros?
And they started
against the quote unquote GOAT. Lionel Messi.
Boy, did Fox lean into that. The whole GOAT thing with Lionel Messi,
which we'll talk about today's match later.
Yeah.
And reason number 492 why I think Cristiano Ronaldo is a better player between.
In terms of that day or this tournament,
just in general.
They can both look like mopey sad sacks.
Yes, and we're arguing, A and B here, and we're seeing both play in their peak is fantastic enough.
But Iceland came out with a plan, a similar one they had the Euros, although I'd say tighter. They're going to play defensively, but their ability to counter against teams that are
lightning,
person to person more talented than they are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But their dentist coach is so good at how he put this thing. Oh, wait, what's your headline? The dentist prescribes Iceland for a messy ache. Jeez.
Oh my God. You can never make fun of Blake again. For any of the dad jokes he makes, you are not allowed to ever make fun of him.
The dentist subscribes Iceland for a messy ache.
Yeah, I get it. I'm with
I was
you.
quite proud of myself on that one.
You should not be. This is
God
good.
bless you.
No, this was amazing because I just thought, man, I'd love Iceland to have a chance. But hey, if they lose to Argentina, this is probably their hardest game. But they don't, man. But Argentina in the 19th minute scores, and you think, this
is
could
the
be
beginning.
it. 4 minutes later,
Yep.
Iceland counters.
And a lightning counter. Argentina was busy throwing people forward.
Some people say, oh, they just sit back and don't. It's BS because their ability to counter, to me, negates that kind of talk.
Right. And it was crazy because right before Finn Bogason makes that score off that counter, Argentina was just throwing people at the Iceland side of the field. And that one turnover, and suddenly 3 Iceland are taking on 2 Argentinian defenders. And it was that fast.
And let's be honest, there were a couple other opportunities that they
Yeah.
kept getting some counters and chances created.
Yeah.
And Argentina was struggling to get back with their foot on the gas.
Yeah.
They had it back at times, and I worried, but Iceland managed to keep it away from them. But one of my favorite things happened on Twitter. Anton Stotel, I don't know how you say his name exactly, but he's does like Icelandic football. Even though you go to Twitter, it says he's at Anton Stotel, at Anton Stotel, ANTONSTOTLE. And he's like, he'll interview about Icelandic football. He keeps up with all the stuff. It sounds like he's an independent reporter, but his tweet, which he then went, I keep talking about our football team kind of quiet, but now and he shared his on Twitter how many times his tweet had been seen, has been seen by more people than are in my country after it hit like 500,000 or something. Because his tweet was this: seeing people calling Iceland boring and defensive as if that's something we're choosing to do. Our goalkeeper is a film director. Our right back has a day job making salt and got time off work to play at the World Cup. If you can't be happy for us, go jump in the ocean.
You got to bleep yourself out on that one.
That's
I
brilliant.
love it.
That tweet got shared like, I don't know, 100,000, 200,000,
Yeah.
got seen by 500,000 people. But to me, it was accurate. When people were just like, people started trashing it the way they played. I'm like, guys, they're just smart. They know what they have.
They're playing to the strength.
If they go try to play like Argentina or a Spain or something, they're going to get hammered.
Right.
They play to their strengths, which brings me to my next point. Good thing America ain't in this World Cup, guys, because it would have been embarrassing. I can't tell you.
The pitch. Yeah.
Iceland would be a perfect example. They outcoached us all day long because that's what they did to Argentina.
Yeah.
And you're right. They played the counter game to a T. They only had 27% of the possession. You do the math on the other side, Argentina possessed the hell out of the ball. They also only had 3 shots on goal, 9 total, opposed to Argentina's 26, 7 on goal.
That's crazy.
And you needed a little bit of luck, though, too.
They did. And I'm not saying this is a team
Right.
that is necessarily... Look, if they make it out, the fact that they got to the World Cup, the smallest country ever to qualify, it is a victory.
But that
Drawing Argentina, actually, they've already now exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
If they somehow manage to make it out of the group, which is a possibility, that they've won the World Cup back in Iceland. Do you know what I mean? Like, that would be huge because of the tweet I just read. The fact that literally dude who hauls ice for a living, their goalkeeper, he's a filmmaker. He did the Coke commercial for them.
Right. And I was just about to say, their luck comes from probably things that they've done their entire life and set themselves up for. Because when Messi stepped up in the 63rd for a penalty, their film director, who I guarantee you's watched tape on this, guarantee you, don't know that for any sort of fact, but I can almost guarantee, has watched tape on him taking penalties, saved it.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of luck, but they set themselves up for that.
Was
I
it-
feel like
I don't know about you
throughout
guys though.
what they've done and who they are.
Argentina got that penalty, and I don't know, man. You have those feelings. You're like, he's not going to score it. It just did. It felt like
and Messi felt the same way.
Yes, it felt, and it wasn't about like being omniscient or whatever. It was just looking at the Argentina team, looking at Messi. The confidence had already been rattled. Iceland had already rattled them. They were fighting. You just said it. 27 shots, 7. They had already done everything that they should have done to win. And there's that feeling where these one days you watch, you go, in every conceivable way but the scoreline, this team won. And they feel it at some point in the game where it's like, nothing's going in. It just is not happening. And that's what happened with Iceland and Argentina. It was awesome. It was so cool to see. And I'll never get tired of hearing their story. Someone was like, I'm so tired of hearing their story. I'm like, what? Shut up.
Why?
It's amazing. Their story's amazing. And by the way, if you're tired of the story, maybe you're a pundit that's covered it since the Euros. But for people that there are people being introduced to the story right now who didn't watch the Euros, who weren't familiar with.
How could you be mad with a country that has the less population
300,000 people
than the state of Rhode Island?
Forget it. 300,000 people in the country of Iceland. Moscow's got 20 million.
That's a lot of people.
Like, it's just, it's crazy. God, it's crazy. And it was awesome. I mean, it was so awesome. Can't wait to see him play Nigeria tomorrow. Tough game. But tell you what, you draw Argentina. Hey, your destiny's in your hands.
Well, and going to that point, I think you got to go in with the same mentality.
Yeah.
Because Nigeria has some very fast, tidy players that if Iceland thinks they can kind of come out of their shell there a little bit, could get burned. So you go in with the same mentality and same style, they can get themselves a win in this one.
It definitely was. I loved you guys watch the game live when the Fox commentator said, Iceland wins 1-1 over Argentina. And it was like, no, actually, I mean,
it feels like
it did feel that way though. Because
technically, no.
It's a draw that is a loss for Argentina, but it is absolutely a win for Iceland.
A draw that feels like a win.
And in the World Cup, it is. To get a point away from Argentina, because that's probably looking at their group, that was going to be their hardest game. We said, at least they start with their hardest match.
Until Argentina played today and got walloped 3-0 by Croatia.
Yes, so now Argentina
on the brink of elimination
may not make it out of the group. Come on, Iceland.
Yeah,
but even if it's Croatia and Iceland
tomorrow, is Argentina automatically eliminated?
They're done. Yeah. But if Croatia and Nigeria or Croatia and Iceland are the two to make it out of the group,
that's so huge.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Nigeria and Iceland went from being in one of the worst groups to be in for either of their team to being one of the best groups to be in.
I think, Ron, you had Iceland as your dark horse in your picks, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I did.
And of course, I'm not saying Iceland's a team that can go all the way, but they can be giant killers. They already have been.
Yeah. And one of the best things during the halftime of that match, I saw the first of many hilarious Volkswagen commercials.
Oh,
there's a headline in here later about it.
They're wonderful. And thank you, Ferris, because it's me and my daughter watching. She was in her Iceland onesie that you got her when she was born.
You're welcome.
Perfect size now. Yep.
But that VW commercial with the chick from Iceland who's like, America, we're really sorry that you're not in the tournament, but perhaps you'd like to vote to pull for us because we don't have enough people to do the wave. And then there's this guy in a Viking helmet in the back seat who just puts his hands up real lazy.
And just says it like this.
Put your hands down,
We
Sven.
don't have enough people.
I love that his name is Sven. Put your hands down, Sven.
It's so great. So great.
My favorite one is coming up because, but those are some great commercials. It's cool that they decided.
Yeah, the Brazil one where they've got. She's like, look,
it's like beautiful girl in Brazil.
Yeah,
and
she's
all
like
the trophies. We have a trunk of trophies.
We have room for one more. Don't worry. And then the other one that's really good is the Belgian one.
Oh, just wait.
The Belgian one is so good.
So, well, that was a big upset for the day.
Speaking of dark horses,
but a bigger upset, in my opinion, is this next match.
Blake's dark horse.
My dark horse, Germany and Mexico.
Mexico.
And Mexico nearly fell off of the earth as they celebrated the only goal scored at the 35th minute to beat Germany 1-0.
The cheering in Mexico
What?
created a seismic event.
Well, I heard looking at that actually they went back and were like, that's not quite. They did
Doesn't
a little
matter.
amendment to it, but I don't care. I'm rolling
Still
with
a cool
it.
story.
Hashtag fake news, but my news.
If it still moves the needle.
It moves the needle.
Yeah.
I mean, this was talking about like the Argentina game where you're like, man, you're a good team and you're playing well, but it's just not happening for you.
Yeah.
To me, that was what was happening in Germany and Mexico. That being said, Mexico looked great. It was
by far.
It was
dominated the game.
amazing.
They dominated the game.
Before the game started. It was technical perfection versus passionate perfection. Like the Mexican team, the fans so passionate. Those guys in the front row in the sombreros that they had down. Like it sounded like they were playing in Mexico. It was so loud.
Yeah.
Overwhelming crowd.
It was like a home game for Mexico.
And man, what a match for Mexico. What a huge 3 points against Germany. Huge.
And it was mainly on the back of Guardado and Herrera in midfield. They made Kreis and Khedira look old and slow. They dominated that midfield, and that just set the tone. And any chance Mexico had to break and get the ball wide, they did. And they did it with such ferociousness and pace and just a desire to score a goal on the other end. And that's what happened. They got their goal and they were able to hang on to it. But that midfield just dominated the game and set the tone for the entire team.
And you really thought, so the Mexico score in like the 35th-ish minute, and they go into halftime, and I was thinking the entire time, all right, Germany's going to make their adjustment, and then they're going to come out, play that ruthless technical game, and grind Mexico down to a stub. And it didn't happen. They had the bulk of the chances in the second half, but it was one of those matches where you're like, Germany can't buy a goal.
What was that stat though? The last time Germany was shut out and lost like this, was the '86 World Cup or something. I don't know. And it was like one they won. Like it then went on. It's like it made them mad,
right?
And they destroyed everyone. So
yeah, you can't count them out. This is a huge upset.
The one with Argentina and Iceland did have a feeling of like, ooh, Argentina doesn't look good. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? And obviously losing against Croatia, like that has panned out that they lost. Germany, there's no way I take this and go, well, they're done. They could easily still go on. And
they're going to come back with a fire, and you're going to watch them really ramp up their technical ability and just do what Germany does, which is
Ansvai.
Tactical grinding of their opponents. Mm-hmm. They're just slowly going to grind them down, wear them out. And that's what I thought was happening, because Germany was playing behind the pace of the game.
Well, I didn't get mad watching it going, why doesn't Ozil play like this when he's on Arsenal? Actually, he looked just like he had at Arsenal.
Pretty much spot on that one.
I was like, oh, you usually toe up for the national team games. He was
and
non-existent.
I think you felt that way. But
maybe it's because he heard the
English. It
English.
was kind of a deception, because while Germany had 61% of the possession, the 39% that Mexico had, they made every bit of that 39% worth it. And they made Germany chase them around on that 39%.
Well, in the second half, most definitely. I really expected that Germany was just using the first half, because Germany's done this before. Germany plays a little bit behind the pace, and they let the other team run themselves tired. And in the second half, they just grind them into dirt.
My thought was, going into the half with Mexico up one, exactly that. I thought, I wonder if Germany will just end up drawing this or actually scoring two. That I was right there with you.
The last time they played, Germany won 3-1. Mexico was the first to score in the first half, and Germany came back in the second half and just grinded them into the dirt.
I picked a good dark horse. I feel like they looked great. I can't and it didn't, and nothing about that screamed luck. As you said, Iceland needed a little bit of luck.
Not at all.
It just seemed like luck. They had played. They'd have beaten anybody that day.
And Germany went into it, I feel like, with a very lackadaisical attitude, and they were very kind of.
That could be why it makes
former world champs and kind of.
It's only Mexico.
We have Tony Kreis. We have. We have Mueller.
That's precisely why it could make it rough for everybody else following, because now they've been slapped. And
yeah,
they could come out the gates.
Your King Love is behind, but they and that's another thing. Your King Love got out coached in this game.
Yogi Bear,
Yogi Bear, got out coached by what was it, the sheriff and who
was the park ranger?
Park Ranger, yeah. He got out coached in this game by Juan Carlos Osorio. Like just because you
I just read your headline.
Oh, did you? You were wondering, he was taking so much fire before the game, but he outcoached one of the best managers in the world.
I'm looking forward to their next match Saturday. I believe is their next match.
Sounds all right.
See if they can continue the stride
against Sweden.
The headline is Lozano's goal puts seismic cracks in the defending champs' armor. You proud of that one?
I was more proud of.
It's like a chapter title for like Lord of the Rings or something,
right? But that sounds, The dentist subscribes Iceland for Messier. Guys,
this was now one. So the games we just talked about. If you're sitting home actually watching these games, each one, you're like, holy crap! This World Cup is already fantastic.
A 1-0 game is that good.
Yeah, each one has been fantastic.
And that last 10 minutes of the Mexico-Germany match, where Germany is just pouring it on. You're like chewing your nails the entire time.
And you know what? Hey, we can cheer for Mexico, guys.
Well, hold on. I was just about to bring up that point.
Yeah, the Landon Donovan.
What do you think about Donovan, Wells Fargo commercial, and basically cheering for Mexico? What do you guys think about that?
Here's what needed to happen from a PR point of view. Landon Donovan, prior to that day, should have on social media said, like, I've had a great time playing down here in Mexico. And since the boys didn't make it, I'm going to be cheering on the Mexican team.
He did. He went out before the tournament and said he was supporting him.
It wasn't hugely distributed. Not necessarily his fault, but it wasn't hugely distributed. So then the first time you see him, he is, like a lot of players, sponsors, or whatever, but he is shilling for a bank on national TV talking about cheering for Mexico. And it did seem... Here's the thing. Personally, I have no problem against it. Mexico was my dark horse pick. Here's my problem against it. Maybe this comes from me working in entertainment stuff. I look at this plan to do it and can't believe no one thought that this could cause some backlash handled improperly. You know what I mean? There was a way to make this commercial work. And because the best part of the commercial is Fabio or whatever?
Yeah.
Fabio. Like, there was something to do with this that would have been great. Like his fellow team members being like, well, who are you going to cheer for? There was a way to do it. This just, I don't know. It was handled poorly. It was for a cheesy commercial.
He also had I'll have to find where
he reacted poorly to the negative comments.
But he wrote an article that said you should be cheering for Mexico, and here's why. And it listed all of the information for why he thought you should be cheering for Mexico if you are in the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's largely bullshit, in my opinion.
I think it's just the way that it was marketed out.
I thought the same way that you did, Blake, where, this is okay. It's a good thing. It's the more I got to thinking about it, the more I went, no, this is not a good thing. A Liverpool fan would not support a United fan because they went further in the Champions League. Boston Red Sox fan would not support a Yankee fan because they went further in the world.
That's not really
they were a part of the world. But no, because they came out of the same... No, Mexico and the U.S. are those type of rivals, plain and simple. You don't do that. Do you go out and completely bash them? No, you don't have to do that. But they are bitter rivals. Dos Acero, down in Mexico City. No, you do not outwardly or support your rivals in this. And the rivals that I'm talking about are similar to those big time teams.
I don't think private clubs count, though.
You are a U.S. men's national team player, and your biggest rival you're now supporting? Bull.
Yeah, but you're not in the tournament.
Yeah, but you're not in the tournament.
Okay, but you don't support your...
So here's why...
You don't have to go out and bash them by any means, but you don't have to go out and do a Wells Fargo commercial and come out and say, I'm supporting him, and let's buy a shirt, let's buy a scarf, and let's do that. Fuck you. No.
Here's where I think it's actually good. Aside from the Ferris's opinion there.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
And I like Landon because what Landon's done. Sorry, Ron, I mean to cut you off. What Landon's done for this country and the game of soccer is amazing. There's not enough words to describe
his
what
argument.
he's done.
His argument is, but part of the reason that we're good
get it.
are the Mexican players that have come up and helped us get better.
No, what's good is that he scored a goal against Algeria in the 2014 World Cup or 2010 World Cup that had American bars insanely, and he watched it crying. That's what he's done for the country, not from what Mexico's necessarily done.
No, I think you just misunderstood what I said. That's his point, is that part of the reason that American players are getting better is they play against and learn from the Mexican players.
Also, you have a bunch of...
He was in that thing he wrote. That
you've also got a lot of Mexican players that do well in the World Cup end up moving to MLS and other leagues, not just the MLS, but for soccer in America, it's actually a pretty good thing if Mexico does well, because American teams will be hiring these Mexican players. That helps the MLS. That also helps soccer in America. That also helps our players get better playing with better people to elevate our national team.
And you're 36. You didn't want to stop playing. A Mexican team hired you. You got one more year out to play. Yeah, you're hanging out with all your friends. You're like, yeah, dude, well, my boys aren't in it. I'll cheer for you. Now, okay, I still think it's that commercial. It just wasn't.
Well, and I think you're probably I think you're. I get what you're saying, and I agree. And what Mexico has done for soccer as well has been very significant in the progression that the sport has had in the States. Yes, 100%. But you don't, as playing for one national team, and I get it, you play for a club down there in Mexico, fine. But you don't see Mexican players doing that for the U.S., and not that they have the ability to do that, so I'll move away from that point. But you don't outwardly go out and support your biggest rival like that. Again, you don't have to bash them.
So we can do it to Canada, but we can't do it to Mexico.
But Canada's not our rival.
That's what I'm saying.
Should be, though.
According to your hypothesis here,
Mexico is our rival. Canada's never been in the soccer community.
Under your thing, we can cheer for Canada. We're not allowed to cheer for Mexico. Even though Canada has done for the U.S. in terms of making our teams better.
But again, going to my point of you don't see Mexican players doing that for the U.S. Well, Canada's not in it. We're not in it, so it's no opportunity. So that's why I moved away from that point. But you don't. Again, to me, I can see where it's in the eyes of, you don't see a Red Sox fan going, yeah, Yankees, you got to the World Series and you went further than us.
That's
private,
only U.S.
Yeah, that's private U.S. within cities. I think you'd have to have an example.
So
hold on.
Do you see England fans cheering for Germany? Because I sure as hell don't.
If you're a huge Arsenal fan and you love Mesut Ozil and he scores the winning goal for the World Cup, you might cheer that dude on.
That dude.
Well, yeah.
Not that team.
So, or let's say you have, I don't know.
Ask any England fan, they would never cheer for Germany if England's not in the tournament.
But here's what you're missing.
Because they're rivals.
You're missing one big thing.
They also bombed the crap out of each other, which is a very different
You're missing one thing, in my opinion. And I think this is the crux of the issue, not, you are thinking of just pure rivals on the world stage. I am thinking of it from, soccer is new to the country in terms of how popular it has become. This World Cup is bringing new people into the game, heaps and loads.
More Americans, even though it's no, America's not playing.
So for you to say England versus Germany, those are well-established soccer countries. We are still dipping our toe in the pond of world stage soccer. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt to say, yes, the marketing was screwed up and blah, blah, blah. But to cheer on another country who helps make it better for the country, rivals or not, is still not a bad thing.
Yeah, because here's
all it does is creates people talking about it, and that is great just by that. Whether you agree he should have done it, shouldn't have done it,
PR
whatever,
stunt?
it still gets people talking
all
about
marketing
it.
is a PR stunt. So I mean, like,
So people are talking about it. That's more soccer exposure in the States. If Mexico does so well in the World Cup that the Portland Timbers hire them and Sporting KC and Orlando, suddenly we're much more invested in the soccer.
we were all hoping
world in
Chicharito was
Mexico.
coming here.
So while I get what you're saying, you don't cheer for your rival. It's easy to say that when you're comparing it to soccer rivals over decades and decades and decades. Yes, we've been rivals for a long time, but soccer hasn't been popular in this country.
I'm also comparing it to rivals of sports that are in the U.S.
Yeah, but
and
that's-
what U.S.
that's not
fans,
on the world
but
stage.
what U.S. fans relate to, and what your non-soccer fan is going to relate to.
Yeah, but you know why that's different? How old are the Braves? Or sorry, how old is Boston and the Yankees? Old. Soccer in America.
So has U.S. and Mexico, though. That they are a rivalry. Where did Dos Acero come from? From that, and it's so popular.
and when
here.
did Dos Acero happen? I mean,
Because we
here's the
because
thing.
because
I am not a
because we beat them in the States 2-0 when it's being played in Mahaffey Stadium in Columbus. That's where the 2-0
But
Dos Acero came from.
I am not
But it's against Mexico.
I'm not a Toronto fan, but I sure as hell was pulling for them to win the Champions League, the tournament here. If you win the MLS, oh God, what's the name of the?
But there's no rivalries there. We don't have a
dude,
rivalry
I'll tell you what,
in the MLS.
If things are
That is-
crazy when Atlanta comes to play
Portland
here.
and Seattle are the only two I can think of.
If Atlanta were in that final for that Champions League here, I would be pulling for them too because I want an MLS team to win. Because I want to elevate MLS. So
Again,
I would love
going to the point.
I would love for Mexico to make a huge run and knock some of these old. Because look, Mexico's like us. They're new world, man. I mean, yes, they've been doing soccer long. We are, but we're all part of the new world. These are old world countries in Italy and Spain and England and Germany that we're talking about, you know, well, not so much Italy for this year, but like this is, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see some new world.
But you don't go out and openly support them as being a player on this on the other side for your home country.
When Wells Fargo pays you $3 million to do
there
it.
it is.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yeah,
there
right.
it is. Well,
the other thing too is I was rooting for Mexico the entire way through the Germany match.
oh, I was too.
And how dare you?
No, but
hang on,
I'm
the
not
point-
walking around
the
in a
point I'm-
Mexico shirt and changing my here I support them.
The
I
point
want to see them
I'm-
take down a Titan.
The point I'm trying to make is, for me personally, I see Mexico as that brother-sister relationship. I'm allowed to pick on you, but no one else is allowed to pick
Yeah.
on you type
I
thing.
like that.
And that's how I saw it. So, you know, Germany, I loved the fact that Mexico held on to beat them. And I think that everybody bitching about Landon Donovan should piss off. I think you're right. The marketing sucked on it, but
It's a
for
shame
him to be
because
able
there was
to-
a way to do. I think there
Yeah,
was a way
there
to
was a
do it.
way better way to
where
do
it would
it.
be like a brother sister. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that'd be the thing. You'd have the two guys trashing each other, like a guy from the national team, Mexico, and Landon. There is a way to make this as fun as the Volkswagen commercials, and like have it come out. You know what I mean? Like I think
Right.
and that
Instead
would
of make it
soften the
look
blow
like
because
big market just
because the problem with the actual commercial is it does just like Wells Fargo slipped him a check, which they did. But
Right.
that's what I think the problem is the way that commercials. But
Oh,
here,
and what's the thing that everybody says about
how about I throw this out too, though? You talked about baseball? You said baseball clubs, same league. I don't know that we're in the same league as Mexico. I watched that Mexican Germany game.
No, but we
and
are.
I think USA. No, we're not. We have a long way to go. This World Cup makes us look awful.
No, because of our playing stuff, but we're in.
Sure,
We fight in the same division to qualify.
sure, but
And
do
CONCACAF,
do I
to
look
make
at
the World
Hold on,
Cup.
he's
Do I
not.
look at
he's
tr-
not saying
No,
in the same league
I
as
understand that.
literally.
Right. No, I
He's
understand
saying
that.
we're not as good as Mexico.
Yeah,
No, I
We
I
couldn't-
fully understand
we
that,
couldn't
which is
beat-
why we're sitting at home and
Yeah.
they're not.
we couldn't beat Trinidad Tobago. We couldn't tie
Both of
them.
them.
It's like the one thing this World Cup has made abundantly clear: we did not belong in it. Bruce Arena was a terrible choice, because nothing changed. We played a bunch of old people. Now,
Not arguing any bit of that.
I will say that friendly that we had with France, where everybody's like, wow,
That was a lot
France
of hope,
had their starting team for the most part, and we won. Yeah, with a bunch of youngins you ain't heard of, because that's who should have been playing, but no one took a chance. And I think Landon's safe until we're better. Like, I think he can. Now, obviously, if we were actually in the World Cup, that would look terrible. He wouldn't do that. But I mean, like, right now, to me, part of the people are freaking about the argument. I was like, I just can't get passionate about it, because it's cool. He can root for him because we don't even
I think what saves him a bit is because of what he's done for soccer in the U.S. Had this been a Jermaine Jones type player, it would have been a hell of a lot worse. But because Landon is who he is and what he's done for soccer in this country, it's not as bad. I still disagree with what he did in openly, outwardly supporting a rival, our pretty much only rival that we have that has history to it. I just don't think you do that. Again, you don't have to bash him. You don't have to outwardly down. But
once it's the World Cup and Olympics,
but you don't buy a shirt, go on TV, and do all of that.
Like, no, because aside from being a corporate shill, what does it really hurt?
Doesn't hurt anything.
Oh, no, right, I know. I mean,
but to me, it's like the Olympics. It's like I'm rooting for this dude in America to win. America gets knocked out, but the guy from England or whoever, Zimbabwe, that knocked him out is a cool story. I'm now rooting for that dude because that's right.
It doesn't hurt anybody
on the national stage.
It's for spirited.
I want to see games like Germany and Mexico. I want to see games like Portugal and Spain on the national. You know what I mean? Like
also, if you give Americans something to complain about, they will.
Yeah. And my biggest argument would be, you know what? Qualify. No one will make those commercials.
Or you know what? Everybody who's bitching, go try and do what Landon Donovan does.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying, don't support your... Don't support your rival. That's not what makes it a rivalry.
But I don't think you're a rivalry when you're not in the tournament.
No, it's because you're not in the tournament. It's not... No, we have history between the two clubs. That's what... between the two nations in this particular instance that makes it...
So I don't know, man. In North Carolina, like I've got my club... Again, I got my schools I root for basketball.
Dallas Cowboys. Yes, please.
But here's I got like the schools that like... hate each other at NCAA basketball, but I can't stand the Tar Heels. But if they go to the national championship, I'm going to root for them.
I'm a Vols fan, and I'm not going to cheer for the Gators to go far in the SEC tournament because we're not in it. No, that's not.
That's what I'm saying. I disagree. I want my home state to be something cool. So if the Duke boys don't make it and the Tar Heels,
they're not. But the U.S. and Mexico aren't the home state. They're not.
Oh, sure. No, but what I'm saying is, well, yeah, so this continent, now it's the continent. I mean, like
the home continent we support.
Well, no, but I mean, like that's if you're expanding it out, well, then yeah, I'd rather see than Brazil or Argentina. I'd rather see Mexico tear up the World Cup from our side of the world. Hell yeah. I'd way rather see that.
I disagree, but that's what.
You want Argentina? You want Brazil?
Brazil play an awesome style.
You want Brazil? Yeah.
I'm not saying I want them. I didn't pick them or anything, but I don't want Mexico to go on and win the World Cup. Do I think it was fun and I was cheering for them to beat Germany? In a way, yes, because they take down a powerhouse.
You are crazy and you are wrong. No argument here. God in heaven, it won't happen. But if it could and Mexico won this World Cup, it would be the best thing to ever happen to soccer in the United States of America. Because to date, because it would be, to quote Star Wars: The Last Jedi, it would be the spark that lights the fire that rebuilds the rebellion.
No, it
Dude,
wouldn't.
Are you kidding?
No,
if we couldn't make it to the World Cup and then Mexico won, the fever here that would build up to build our national team to be the best it can be, because we've got to deal with the next 4 years that our rivals, to quote you, are the World Cup champions. Dude, nothing lights your fire like a rival getting it when you don't even get invited to the dance. You're crazy, dude. Mexico wins the World Cup. We're winning the World Cup when 2026. Like, yeah,
The
dude.
two biggest events in U.S. soccer history, the three biggest, was the 1994 World Cup, Donovan's goal against Algeria.
We didn't
and
win.
This year, us not making it into the tournament.
Yeah. So you know what else? The third biggest one
The fourth at this point.
would be Mexico winning. To have your next door neighbors, you're telling me that wouldn't motivate U.S. soccer at all? No, you're not telling me that because that would be wrong, and that's why you're quiet.
It would not be the biggest thing. The biggest thing was us not making the tournament this year. Because look what we've already done.
No,
We've already
dude,
changed over the
you don't make
presidency. We've put out a whole new team against France. We've already started to make those changes. Would it help? Yes, but it's not. It's not going to be the biggest thing to hit
still aren't
U.S.
making
soccer.
those changes, and we'll get to that when we get to Colombia and Japan because there's proof in that pudding right there.
We are making the changes.
No,
we have
we're
a
not.
new
Wait till we get there.
president.
Wait. Put a pin in it.
Soccer.
We'll get to Colombia and Japan, and we'll talk about that.
Thank you for the beer, Ron. This is very good.
We should probably move on here.
Old Rasputin, he's demanding debate.
9. Wait, no,
Not-
wait.
not
What's,
German.
what's the? Wait, yeah. What's
It's
the?
German. That is-
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just da. No.
Good job.
No, right, da.
I figured that one.
No,
out.
is it da and na? I don't know.
No.
We'll go with that. Next up,
Brazil, Switzerland.
Brazil, Switzerland. There was 1-1.
A 1-1 draw.
Which is good for Switzerland, I think.
Yeah, that's a win for Switzerland.
I'd said a lot of people thought Brazil was going to roll in, still embarrassed from that 7-1 loss.
Coutinho did what Coutinho did.
With
Scored
a
another
stunner.
wonder curler stunner. Yeah.
And Neymar,
Magician.
gone. You just see this guy? He got pulled out of practice.
I thought he went back in yesterday.
So,
Is he? Yeah,
he
yesterday.
did not practice today, and he was out of practice today. Was in yesterday.
That's what I'm thinking of.
The day before, he left early.
Yes.
But he is, according to his manager, he is slated to start tomorrow.
I mean, you'd be dumb. What do you think about his hair?
I was going to say, you can't waste that good haircut.
God, what a
That's Pogba level. Like, do you think they talk? They talk. Hey, this is what I'm doing. What are you doing?
no. That's not Pogba has okay. You could, better than what? That's a bleach blonde mop.
Did you see the person that like had a picture of Neymar and then like some ramen noodles next to it or whatever? Which then I was like, you should have put that Justin Timberlake from NSYNC
Yeah,
back in the day. That's really what it looked like.
I responded to the Men in Blazer's tweet of what do you think of his hair with a picture of Gary Busey's hair from some movie where he's like
Any movie, any Gary Busey movie.
So the biggest topic out of the Brazil Switzerland, and I'm interested to get both of your opinions, is that Switzerland fouled Neymar a ton, and there was a lot of punditry talk about refs protecting star players so they're not decimated into the dirt, and they said the ref did not protect Neymar. What do you guys think?
What to quote my friend Ferris, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I was gonna say pretty much the same thing, but not in those quite words.
That's what he says every time Manchester United scores off an offside goal again.
I was gonna say, very true. Offside scorpion kick goal. Yeah. No, I was gonna say, good for the Swiss. Not only do they make great knives, but they employed a tactic which teams used to do against Shaq back when he was playing in the NBA. They hack him and we'll prove that you can score against us, right? The way you beat that is by putting the ball in the back of the net, and then it's null and void. And Neymar, don't be a little bitch and roll around and go down and cry to the refs every time you get fouled. Get up like De Bruyne does, whack a damn ball in the back of the net, give them 2 fingers, and then move on with the game. That's not what he did.
No.
And he's not that type of player. He's a fragile mop hair.
Well, and I think
player.
I think that's what hurt the calls. He might have,
Yeah.
because they called some. We didn't talk about this, but they called some folks for like simulation in some previous matches that we talked about that actually probably would have totally gotten away with in Premier League. I like that they were kind of on top of it.
And even the goal in this game was potential. Why was it called? Because there was a push on, like the Swiss push.
Oh yeah,
it was a very light push.
That Coutinho goal though. Ooh,
yeah,
that was nice. That was nice.
And I mean,
but you know what else helped Switzerland though?
And the ref should have shown some cards earlier. He didn't do that. So yes, that didn't help. But Neymar didn't help himself either. Get up and get on with it and put the ball in the back of the net. And nobody's talking about this. Instead, they're talking about how you're one of the best players in the world, which you are. But now it's just, okay, now we need to protect him? No, we don't need to protect him. He can protect himself. Or how about somebody on Brazil go up to somebody in the Swiss, get right in their face and push them off of him?
Yeah, I have a problem. Just granted, the NBA is not the same.
Right.
But I have a problem with leagues that, quote, protect stars.
Yeah.
If it's a foul for the keeper, well, that's a bad. If it's a foul for some no-name right back, it's a foul for a striker. So there shouldn't be a we're protecting the stars. It should be if it's a foul, it's a foul. And
Just
that's the
call
end
it.
of it. Just call it, move on. And if the guy keeps hacking Neymar and it's a foul every time, you give him, 2? And you warn him those 2 times and then you card him and move the hell on.
Sorry, you said that and I just read Ferris's headline. Hack a Neymar, sees Swiss gain point against powerhouse Brazil. Like whack-a-mole?
Whack-a-mole.
So take a guess, Ferris.
I can't take full credit for that. I think Lexi Lawless kind of said something to that extent after the game on it.
Take a guess how many yellow cards shown all the way including to today.
In the entire tournament?
In the entire tournament total.
Yellow cards.
Yellow cards.
17.
Blake?
4.
Yellow cards?
4. I'm playing this Price is Right.
That's why I could tell what you were tell what you were doing on that one.
There was 4 in the Brazil Sweden
Brazil
game
game,
alone.
Well, then I'm not wrong.
I feel like I'm really low on going with 17.
You're both stupid low. 69.
Nice.
Yellow
We're such kids.
How many red cards?
One?
There was the Carlos Sanchez
Was
one in the
that-
Colombia game.
was that a straight, or was
That
it
was
a-
a straight red, yeah.
I don't think we had an accumulation.
4?
Blake?
I'm saying 1 is all I remember. Was there more than that?
Just one.
Oh, just the one?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just the one.
Yeah.
Handball, straight
Why did I
red.
think there was something in another game. I thought there was a double yellow and a red, but no, yeah, it was just the Sanchez one in Colombia, which, by the way, we'll get to that game at the very end. Surprise, surprise, there's already death threats for him in Colombia. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
But before we go to the next match, the other thing I was going to say that really helps Switzerland, though, is their flag. It's a big plus. All right, moving on to Belgium.
You can't say a word.
No, you're right.
Don't even.
You're right. I love it. Good knives and good flag. That's a big
That
plus.
makes me happy.
That is one of the better ones.
What a
man.
jerk.
God. Our bleep counts just all over that page right now. I
Man,
love
the
it.
Landon Donovan conversation alone.
Yeah, I'm a little
our
passionate.
budget's-
Landon, I still love you.
It's this 9% Rasputin. The spirit of Rasputin has invaded this podcast.
This beer is really good, though. It's fantastic.
I'm having so much fun, though. This is the last beer. I'd totally go grab something else out of the fridge at this point. Hey, there's some coconut porter from Funky Buddha that's in my big bottle that's in the fridge. I'm just saying.
Do it up.
I'm just saying if we
We
run
got to
out.
sell some
you
games,
wanna
and
bring
then
it
we
in.
have Jason Kreis to talk
I
about.
don't have a lot to talk about, but with that. So next up, moving on to Belgium. Belgium and Panama went kind of how you thought it would.
Well, actually, it didn't in the beginning. The first half for
Yeah,
Belgium
true.
was very flat.
Forgettable.
There was
Forget.
a lack of creativity in the final third by Belgium. They were having a really rough time. Panama was really good in the midfield, despite Belgium having Lukaku and De Bruyne and Hazard, like all these stellar players, and Panama gave Belgium all they could handle in the first half.
And then that was it.
And then Belgium came out, got their heads out of their ass, and
This was like the
went
reverse
after
of the Iceland-Argentina situation. You thought this might would happen in the second half with Argentina and Iceland,
right,
or Mexico, Germany.
right.
And this one, it was what you expected. There's no way this game goes this way, and Belgium just cuts it on.
Yeah.
Belgium, not Belgian.
Mertens in the
What a
47th
goal.
was just gorgeous. He's like, if you go to soccer camps and watch them teach how to kick those types of shots, it's textbook. Squared shoulders, squared hips,
Absolutely.
perfectly on the laces, follow through. It was absolutely
Eyes on the
perfect.
ball the entire time.
Absolutely
Beautiful
perfect.
goal.
And then Lukaku puts 2 in the back of the net.
And in the same respect, that De Bruyne assist for Lukaku's first.
Brilliant.
Outside of the boot to put,
On his off foot, on the right foot. And
God
that
almighty.
curls
What an assist.
so far around a defender.
Insane.
It was brilliant. And that is why he's one of the world class.
Hey, America, consider rooting for Belgium. That's Hans, my lighting guy.
That is my favorite.
I love that commercial so much. And you have the two guys.
I love it. All those VW commercials are so good.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, that's really all there is to say about Belgium, Panama.
Other than that, Lukaku scored twice.
I said
Dos.
Again, no.
Okay.
Again, proving the fact that if it's a team that's lesser, Lukaku will always score.
Damn it. You're an ass.
It's absolutely true.
As soon as I saw that happen in the game.
And you knew he was going to score because
Yeah.
you knew he was going to score because it wasn't that hard a team.
Right, yeah. So, I don't know who they're playing next, but
I hate you.
so that brings us over to my shirt I'm wearing. I've got Tatooine United from Star Wars because Tunisia is home of the actual Tatooine where they filmed Star Wars. And they played against England. Actually kind of gave England a little bit of trouble, a lot more than I think.
Yeah.
A lot of it too. England just kind of
dominated the game. I thought they dominated the game.
They did. England scores quick Harry Kane goal in the 11th minute.
All right, Kane.
Tunisia gets a penalty, but then England just.
Did you think that was a penalty or hook? Sorry.
I think it's an any given Sunday kind of situation in the sense of like
I didn't think it was. I thought it was.
I think sometimes
he threw the bow.
I just mean in terms of getting called on the.
Yeah.
But that's
True.
Who threw that elbow?
Walker.
Was that VAR?
Yeah, that was a complete
it was
penalty.
VAR. That was to me. That was a penalty. He clearly threw that right in the.
Yeah, VAR
has been spot on.
Has worked. We didn't really talk about it because it's actually worked. I mean, again, MLS pay attention or pro refs to this because it's much quicker.
Also, an interesting thing is that the line judges have been told if you have any doubt, don't raise your flag.
Yes,
let it play out.
You're right. I did hear that.
Let it play out. It's easier to take a goal away than have to owe one.
Right.
Essentially. So if it's blatant, call it. If it's not, let VAR handle it. And that's a smart way to do it, I think. The VAR has been great this entire time.
I agree.
It's been quick. It's been quicker than the MLS version.
Is it great because it's better than what we expected?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I would say the same because for the first time being used in a major tournament,
kept moving.
I think it's been very good so far.
And I like that they have the NFL rule where if play is resumed,
it's a catch. It's not a catch.
If play is resumed, there's no in the NFL, if play resumes, there's no challenges.
Right.
Oh
well,
yeah,
if
they
play
continue
resumes
playing and then go back.
There's no going back.
So VAR.
I give it
it's working out.
If it's a check so far.
If it's done this way,
the old Switzerland plus.
Because I mean, us sitting here watching MLS, I think we were starting to not become fans because it was a drag. This wasn't.
Well, our MLS. Yeah,
well, but I mean, but in terms of the usage of it, I mean, that has nothing to do with the players. Just pick up the pace, right? In this World Cup,
and inform the fans what's happening.
Yeah.
You paid all that money to go, and then they.
And like you said, the line judges being told, like, there's been work to make it work.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way.
Rather than just you awkwardly inserting it.
Yeah.
Take that how you want. Wait,
69 yellow cards.
We've all done the awkward insertion thing, okay?
Oh, I didn't. Do we read your headline for the England Tunisia game?
He's still broken.
No. A brace and a cane help prop England up in the opening game. These are so bad.
Because Harry Kane scored 2.
I'm with you. Now, to be honest, one of my favorite games for like, what? Out of nowhere.
Amazing.
Colombia, Japan. And Japan wins 2-1, shocking everybody.
Samurai Blue.
There were a lot of complaints that they didn't go wide and open up their game, but they still won.
I think Japan did not play to their potential. I think they mismanaged a good portion of the game. Yeah. They were doing long balls over the top when they were up 1-0 after that penalty.
Right.
And that penalty comes from the Sanchez red card for denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity, a handball in the box. It's blatant. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. it's blatant. He just sticks his arm out.
yeah.
He pulls a
It's
Thierry Henry, but gets caught.
And in the third minute, you got to be smarter than
Yeah,
that.
so-
And then especially in the World Cup, you got in any game, but in the World Cup, especially your opening game, you got to be smarter.
And right in front of the ref.
And that early in the third minute, that's
It was just dumb
but
play.
be smarter, but not enough to have death threats against you. That's
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah,
Come on.
that was a little.
Yeah.
That's a little
So
much.
I think Japan up 1-0 in the 6th. By about the 25th, 30th minute into there, they're playing long balls over the top. They're giving up really easy passes. They're not slowing Colombia down by taking possession and making Colombia chase. And I really thought that Colombia was going to end up winning this 2-1 or something similar because Japan was just mismanaging such a big section of the match. About 2/3 of the match, I would say, were completely mismanaged.
Yeah, and I mean, Colombia drew it level in the 39th. And it was kind of, all right, now it's a 1-1 game, and Colombia's man down, and they're actually looking the better team going into half.
And then Osako scores in the 73rd off of a really nice header. And that's pretty much all she writes. Colombia.
Oh, I do like the headline. The Samurai have Colombia feeling blue.
Blue, blue, blue.
That one was actually too good to be one of your headlines. That was a good one.
Shut up.
Like that could have been a headline. I mean, yeah, I mean that's pretty good. And it's like we said. Any matches we want to talk about real quick, or just the fact that, like we said, Argentina lost again
to Croatia,
'cause
but
we just
they
started.
didn't lose to Croatia. They got dominated by Croatia, 3-0,
Modric. Whew.
showing why he's awesome.
wait.
Although Rakitic owned that midfield,
He played
like N'Golo Kante. It was amazing how much he commanded that midfield and really directed play. He got in the way of so much midfield buildup for Argentina. Messi did basically nothing in this entire match, was largely unimpressive. And an interesting thing that I was listening to a show on SiriusXM FC, and they were talking about if you watch this game as a new fan and you listened to all the hype about Messi, and then you watch this game, you're like,
Why?
who?
Yeah.
Right. You're like, who? And that was very evident in this match. As soon as that whistle went, Messi just walked right off the field in frustration. And I get some of his
Did he
frustration.
retire?
No, not until they lose out. I get some of his frustration because Argentina doesn't play as a team. They play as all individuals. And
It's Man City from 2 years ago.
And why
All these
Icardi never went to
Yeah.
beyond me.
say that again?
Why Icardi never
Oh.
was part of that team. He's
Yeah.
somebody that could put the ball in the back of the net, and he showed a lot in Serie A this year. I agree.
So Argentina hurting. If Iceland win tomorrow, Argentina's packing their bags. Man. And
That'd be awesome.
it-
I don't know that. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
I watched that game from work today, and other than watching Croatia do so well, I was largely bored by Argentina's performance.
Oh,
That's
and, you know,
sad
a
to
team
hear.
we didn't talk
You know?
about one of their matches, by the way, but they're kind of becoming another Iceland for me because of how much fun they have in celebrating is Senegal.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Dude, their coach
Yeah.
looks like a lion.
He was the one that we were like, we don't know how their managerial going to do because he was the one that played for them the last World Cup.
Oh,
and
yeah.
is now
He's
their
got
coach.
this
Yeah.
long mane of dreadlocks.
Oh, yeah.
And did you see the slow-mo of him celebrating the goal where he's just pumping his fist in slow motion in
that's
front of
a
us?
movie waiting to be made.
Yeah.
Like awesome.
Oh, man.
And that one had the weird goal of like the
because
coming out of the penalty box in hockey style goal that
Yeah.
was like, wait, is that legal?
And they
It was
tried
100% legal.
Well, and also they said like, is that the ref's fault for waving him on? But to be fair, he waved him on the other side of the pitch. The dude just took off, knowing and no one was marking him.
It was done to the letter of the law. I mean, the only thing, could the ref have waited a few extra moments to not have them be in a counter type situation? Maybe, but that's a very
As far as they lobbed the ball and where he started at,
no, it was
that was impressive.
Yeah, it was very impressive. And everything was legal and fine.
I don't want to derail us. We can leave this conversation in depth more because we talked a lot about USA stuff. But one thing was pointed out. I did want to loop back on the Japan-Colombia game. They made the mention, some people on Twitter were talking about it. I think one of the guys that ran for Soccer Federation president in the U.S. said, I wonder if it's any coincidence that this year the U.S. doesn't qualify and that Japan and U.S., who both had closed soccer systems, you pay to play, but 15, however many years ago, Japan decided to drop that and do like the rest of the world, do merit-based. And since then, they've qualified for every World Cup, and now they've got players in the Premier League who are stars in other leagues across the world.
Well, we're in America. Everything's motivated by money.
Right, which means that you lose out on a ton of people that are probably awesome. Because I mean, you can look at baseball, you can look at basketball and football. You get kids who have a ton of talent who know it's their only way out of a situation, and they work their butt off, and they're some of the best in the world. You're missing that passion in the soccer side of things. You're missing out a lot of people that don't have an opportunity to play. You don't know if they're good or not, right?
Right.
And it was something that got brought up in the conversations when they saw how Japan was doing. It was like, hey, just so you know, they were very much like us. The only two groups they were doing pay to play and not merit based open system.
Right.
Until
Interesting.
And it's something like 15 to 20 years. Whenever Japan switched.
Here's the real question: did Japan cheer for Mexico?
Damn it! I was gonna say, I'm tired of arguing that one. I was going to piggyback off that and say we haven't mentioned once we were granted, along with Canada and Mexico were granted the 2026
World Cup.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I think we get 40 games and anything in the knockout stages. Mexico get 10, Canada get 10, and Orlando is considered one of the in contention for one of the host cities. That gets narrowed down between now and then.
We at least got to do this show for 8 more years.
Hey, man, I'm all right with that.
I was like, well, I guess we're doing this for a little bit longer because there's going to be games here. We got to do this.
So real quick, I want to run down the groups for you and let you know who's the top 2 of every group as of today's matches, which we didn't go over every match. But real quick, Russia and Uruguay are currently the top of Group A.
And looking like that's going to be the way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Group B, Spain and Portugal. That's probably also the same. Group C, France and Denmark. That's
probably.
Yeah, that's going to be.
France so fast, man, on the scoring, on the attack.
Pogba with a really nice goal today to lead France 1-0. Group D, Croatia, Iceland. Croatia, man, they are just killing it.
Say that again. Who's on top?
Croatia
and Iceland.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, I know they're like at 1 point, but still, I don't care. This is awesome. That's awesome.
Group E, Serbia and Brazil. I don't think any of us really had Serbia to top this group, but
not top it. I had them as my dark horse.
I heard something.
Certainly could be the way.
My geography right because of what happened geopolitically. Serbia and Croatia were together as Yugoslavia, and they were saying like, man, if that stuff had not happened, that would be the best.
I did see that tweet.
Nation ever.
Yeah, right.
If you put that together, good grief. Man.
Yeah. Group F, Sweden and Mexico. Who would have thought?
Just that's
so far.
That
we still have games to play.
That you can
we still have games to play.
Yeah. Argentina is one.
It's 2 games for each team still.
If Germany didn't make it out of group stage, that would be insane.
Which I think the stat is a lot of the previous World Cup winners that played in the next tournament either didn't get out of the group stages or got knocked out in the first knockout game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Group G, Belgium and England. We pretty much had that.
Yeah.
Group H, Japan, Senegal.
That was still.
I think we had. It's still up for contention.
Poland and Colombia, but yeah, I think it's still up for contention as well.
Yeah, they've only all played 1 game each. So those are your leaders in the groups right now, as it stands. And we've got a lot more to go. We've got.
Oh, it's glorious.
23 games down, 41 more matches.
Love it.
Love it. Oh man, love it. Oh, I'm just so happy. It's the best time. It's Christmas all month.
The most wonderful time of every 4 years.
It's so great. That's our World Cup talk. Real quick, we can talk a little MLS for us here locally. It just doesn't even feel like news. Jason Kreis removed as head coach at Orlando City.
Agrees to part ways.
Whatever. That's like the director left the film over creative differences.
No, that is what we lovingly refer to as a conscious uncoupling.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
thank you, Gwyneth Paltrow. Check out Goop at goop.com.
Here's the thing. In any other sports and things, this could happen. For me, I don't like the pattern of we're still a young club as far as MLS is concerned. We have a coach for a season and a half, fired, another coach for a season and a half, now he's fired. And while I understand people who say they wanted to keep him, not out of like I think people that want to get rid of him, I understand their frustrations. For the people that want to keep him, I do think it was not so much like no, Christ is the man. It just was, guys, like, what else are we going to do right now? Like, I mean, if we don't have anything lined up, and that's kind of the boat I'm in. What's the answer? And there is a press conference Saturday before the match here in Orlando that the owner is doing to address it.
Talking with a friend of the pod, Chris, who we know at work, he made a good point. That press conference could be to, why are we doing it right before a match? Very odd. It could be to introduce that coach before a match.
It'll either be to introduce or say, we're going to have you a new coach in the next 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like,
who was in Scolari?
Philip Scolari.
Yeah, he was the Brazil coach, so they lost 7-1 to Germany.
He's been in Chinese league.
He's 70 years old.
He was Chinese Super League and won it 3 times.
The Chinese Super League. Yes.
It's a league. He won it.
But the rumor floating around him is that, yes, he's 70. It's not a matter of like long term. It's that he would come in to see this. He'd pull a Goose Hiddink and he would see out the season while they do a search for someone else. The big like scuttle was Kaká would become a technical director or something and learn under him, and then he'd take over as coach while he got his accreditation. Who knows? But I mean, I don't know. I see both sides of this argument pretty strongly. If you're the ownership of Orlando City, you're in a tough spot because you got to at least look like you're trying to do something.
No, you're not.
I think you let him finish out his only year.
Yes.
It was
you see where he's at the end of the year. The year's not done.
This was the first year we had a Kreis team.
And the 6 games that we were on a slide, 5 of those games, he did not have his number 1 center back or his number 1 striker.
Correct.
In any of those games. That's tough for any coach around the world to have. Period. And it's 5 games over the course of 30-some?
Yeah.
Way too fast. It's so reactionary.
His overall record.
You're never going to build anything this way.
Yeah. If you just look at the overall record, it's not great, but that's not taking it out of, like you said, that's taking it out of context.
But at the end of the day, that's...
Well, essentially, those 5 games that I just said are the difference between his 23 wins and 28 losses.
Yeah, but still, being in even... Well, he's less than 500 because he had draws. Yeah. But I still think it's too soon. And we're building a culture for... And again, if we don't like what you're doing, we're going to fire you.
Who are we getting? Now, there's no full plan. Lexi Lito, am I saying it right? Lito, the owner... He's saying the nice thing is we have a club here that we're already getting people reaching out to us, whatever that means. Wenger in, guys. It's Wenger in.
I said today.
I would take Wenger.
I think anybody. Yes. I said today, and I don't think it'd be a popular choice, but Bruce Arena knows the league very well. He won with Galaxy.
He can go hang out with Landon Donovan and make Wells Fargo commercials. I don't need Bruce Arena.
Again, would not be the popular choice and would get crucified.
Next year, we'd bring in
with the U.S.
We'd bring in a bunch of 35-year-olds.
But has managed in the league successfully for several seasons.
Yeah,
and knows the league.
There's a big complaint about that too. Is everyone's afraid there's going to be another MLS veteran, and
true,
that's a problem because the MLS. There's a thought that things are starting to shift. That's where Tito and Atlanta is doing so well. I think.
How did the last Brazilian work out for us, though?
The last Brazilian player?
Or
anything. Player? We didn't win anything with him.
Yeah, but you can't. It's one dude on a team of 11 people. I don't know that.
No, it's one manager coaching a team of 11.
Yeah, that's very different. I don't wait. That's what? That doesn't make any sense.
Because we have a Brazilian owner, he's going to keep just going back to the Brazilian. I don't understand that.
That would be like, well, we got rid of Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, but we hired Zinedine Zidane. Oh, another French guy? Yeah, like what? I don't what would have to do with it?
I just don't understand the mentality of going to the Brazilian
because
every time.
It's
I know
because
the culture they have,
he's Brazilian.
It's because Alexa. Yeah, it's because the owners are Brazilian,
I understand
and he has
that.
huge connections. No other club would have gotten.
Was an outcast to the Brazilian national team.
Yeah, but that's because of that one match. He got them very far. He got to the quarterfinals, and they got blown out by the best team in the world.
They didn't win the Olympics with him. They didn't win anything with him.
You just said Bruce Arena.
Bruce Arena has won multiple championships within the league that we're playing in.
Yeah, When's the last one? That's what I'm saying. I think the league is different.
That's what helped get him the U.S. job back because of what he did in the league. We're such a new league.
I would argue that he was the interim because he's had previous U.S. national team experience.
Yes, agreed. But he came off the back of a winning LA Galaxy.
If you hire Bruce Arena, you are bringing him in to fire him in a year and a half. I'm
not saying it's a popular choice, but I could see it happening and seeing it.
But I don't want that. I want someone that's going to stay. We need this third time's a charm.
And you said yourself, Scolari's not that guy. If he's going to be a stopgap, then why are we bringing him in?
A stopgap would at least feel better than like a Bruce Arena. And you're going to keep him. Scolari would at least be like, hey, we're going to finish out the year with a vet. The guys will learn from him, and this gives us time to do a good search for someone big. Now, then they got to deliver. They would have to deliver. But it's
messy. I mean, I think that's. I
agree. That's a little rough.
It worked for Chelsea.
I think just the entire thing is just
not really.
No, it didn't.
Not really.
Who'd you get after Gus Hiddink?
It's a messy situation. I think Ron, you said it earlier.
After Gus Hiddink came in.
Yeah, you had Conte come in. You win the championship, and then you immediately fire him because he's not that good.
But that's because of your Russian oligarch. We don't have that here.
No, but we're building
that. Russian beer, though.
Hold on.
If we won the MLS
No.
Cup
Hold on.
year.
We're building that with the way the front office fires other front office personnel and then
Michael Impanalo,
fires coaches. We are building a Brazilian oligarch. That's all we're doing. We are.
But he ain't got the money that.
That's true, but we are not
a home slice guy.
That's fair. Yeah. But the actions are all basically the same.
That's like Monopoly table. I can't even. That's a lot of money that dude's got.
Home slice.
Like he's not even allowed back in England. He's like, it's okay. I buy country. This dude's like.
But the actions are all basically the same.
And any way you slice it, it's just messy. I think Ronnie said it earlier. We're setting ourselves up for. We don't like you. We're going to fire you in a year and a half.
And that means
it sets us up.
That is also a very Chelsea
not
thing.
Build anything.
There's a very interesting parallel because if a manager knows that if he's not doing well in the last half of that year and a half section, if he's not doing good in that season, he knows he's getting canned.
Listen, this guy complained. You can tell as a Chelsea fan. You know what I would take? I'll take a new coach every 3 years if I win the championship every other year. Because
I agree.
What Chelsea
but
did.
You know what? But here's the thing: Orlando City is not in that boat.
No, then it's not going to happen.
But what they are forming is, if we don't like you, we're canning you, which does not give any new manager much confidence that they're going to be around.
I would agree with you, except that that's the entirety. Yes, you are right. I don't think it's the biggest detriment because that is American sports. I mean. When Beamer whatever quit Virginia Tech as the coach, it was like, well, that was kind of like the Wenger situation. You don't see
this sports in general because we're so.
You have a very valid point. In my perspective, you let Kreis finish the year, and if he sucks, then you can him. And you go, you know what? We gave you your year plus another half, and nothing really happened, so we're moving on.
It's tough though because
Orlando's not gonna win the championship this year because they fired somebody and brought in a new coach.
But if you put yourself in the shoes,
it's unlikely.
If you put yourself in the
unlikely.
shoes of the owners though, and you go down in flames of Kreis when people are screaming to replace him, you didn't do anything. If you do something,
but for every person who's saying replace Kreis, there's a person, a half, another two that are saying no. Don't replace him.
Hey, today that's no different than Wenger out. That was a very split thing, but as it went, it was not.
Wenger was
anymore.
also at the club for.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
23.
that would change even quicker than in Orlando's. You lose 4 more games. I don't think you got as many people. I think they're like, okay, just do anything. Do anything.
Yeah, but also, I agree. I understand. I'm also miffed at the average American soccer fan who does not take into consideration the fact that for the last 5 games we haven't had a center back, we haven't had our starting attackers.
You know what else we did too, though?
We've had a lot of call-ups.
I don't know the details, but we got rid of Orlando City B, which is where we should have been able to pull veterans that were playing to help supplement, and we got rid of that this year. I don't know why we got rid of that.
I don't know either.
Because that was the whole point,
financial
was that
thing, but I don't know.
we could have, pulled them in. And I mean, not saying that, but we give you people that have legs that have been playing
And if
in those positions.
Scolari comes in. I'm not saying I'm not going to support him or the club. No, but I will have questions as to is he going to be the right fit and be here for several years?
No, he won't. He won't be. He will literally be.
Well,
Scolari's done. No, he's retired. That's what I'm saying. He's retired. It's Gus
why would
Hiddink.
we
If he
bring
comes
him
in, he's
in?
literally coming in to hang out
Speaking
for
of
the end of the year.
bringing Gus Hiddink, he's doing a fantastic job on the Fox coverage.
Actually, he is. Yeah.
Bring him in. I love
he's
that.
got some of the.
He has a good vest every now and again too. That's a.
He and Alexi Lawless were talking, and Alexi Lawless asked him a very specific question, and I apologize that I can't remember the exact subject matter, but Gus Hiddink basically brushed him off and said, that's not what's important. What's important is this portion of the game. And completely shut Alexi Lawless
Love it.
down.
Bring him in.
It was absolutely funny.
I'd take Gus Hiddink
I would too. Yeah.
in a heartbeat. I mean, look, I'm not sitting over here arguing that
Yeah.
it's
just a messy situation.
it doesn't matter. If
McCall
you
Dennis.
keep him and it fails miserably, it's terrible. If you fire him now and you have a middling season that has you finish again 3 points out of playoffs, it's not a tenable situation. But at the same token,
Bring Thompson
look,
money over to the
I want to see the
that's
Pride
fair.
win a
I was gonna say
championship.
Pride,
But
yeah.
here's the thing, Coach Heath, love the dude. He ain't doing great in Minnesota either. He was not a guy to stick around.
Yeah.
Kreis,
Agreed.
I don't know. I don't know. He said he had success in the past.
Christ had a way shorter time, though,
Yeah.
than
As
Inchy
far
did.
as like putting
If you
your
count in before the MLS
Yeah.
and all that, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we as an MLS clubs in general, Tito coming in to coach at Atlanta was huge. That is the way the league steps up next, is that it's no longer MLS veterans. You are bringing in outside that is bringing up the
situation's different though, because they brought him in and he was able to build his own team from the start. He wasn't inheriting.
Yeah. I'm not saying if you get a
team.
Tito, he can do that this next season. But if you have someone with his pedigree and you just barely get in or don't the playoffs next year, but you have his pedigree, it's much more forgiving to give him that season to then go into
So
his
then
next
does
one.
Scolari have that pedigree?
Again, you keep saying that, dude. He would not. He is not a long-term solution. He's literally for this year only. They've said that. Like he is retired. It would be a this year only. Like that's not a.
It'd be an interesting move. Just interesting move.
And in that case, then why don't you just keep the interim coach?
well, right.
Which we did just qualify for the quarterfinals of the Open Cup last night.
Yeah, we did.
Which-
Via penalties, right?
Yeah.
Which begs me to the question of look before you leap.
Yeah.
What was the point of firing Kreis if you're going to bring in
There's a side.
somebody?
If you
hang on.
didn't have,
if there's nobody on the market for you to join right in, who's going to
Or retiree.
right? Why? What's the point of putting in a stopgap when you could just keep your coach, use the rest of the time? Yes, your season's probably going to be in the tank, but your season's probably going to be in the tank anyway. It's not like Kreis lost the locker room. Everybody,
Some say they
been-
may have.
there's
But
been a lot of
Spectre
scuttlebutt.
came out and said that's a surprise.
everybody was surprised. Every player that went on record said they were shocked that Kreis was gone. So it doesn't, to me, the reports don't lead to Kreis lost the locker room entirely and it was beyond hopeless. So
hey man, Peru's coach is coming to the city next.
So
We
if
got-
you're just
Iceland
going to
coach.
hire a stopgap, what was the point?
we can't afford Iceland's coach. That Dennis, he's worth too much now.
I tell you what,
He's gonna open a dentist
I would
shop in
change
Orlando.
mine to the dentist, and I'd go to him every damn
No,
time.
I would be like, please don't coach Orlando City. Could you coach our national team? That's what I would say. That's
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's just-
I'm looking forward to Saturday to see what the press conference does
you've
and
just-
to see some soccer back
you've just
here.
seen it 1,000 times in every sports here in the United States.
Yeah, it's very, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah. So I'm not shocked. I mean, I was shocked at the timing of the World Cup kicking off and then them announcing it. Basically,
Well, it wasn't a shock to me because they announced it on a Friday afternoon when news is supposed to die.
yes.
So
except
it wasn't a
soccer
surprise to me.
World was tuned into soccer.
Their attention's one way. It's
Right.
Yeah.
one way. It's also
But-
Friday news. I mean, if you're going
But-
to release something big, you release it on a Friday afternoon
The
or a
attention-
Friday evening so it can just die and go into
The attention was on the World Cup,
Weekend.
and Yoshi was playing, and they kept saying it over and over on Fox about how Kreis just got fired. I was like, wow, we're getting a lot of World Cup coverage for Orlando City right now. Because they'd be like, oh, Yoshi's going to come back and not have a coach. And they just like,
tap goose hitting.
what are you doing, Goose? What are you doing, buddy?
Alexi Lawless. He's our new coach.
Whoa.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know about them apples.
I
It
don't
would
even, man,
be-
that's the thing is I can't even sit here and go, okay, Bruce Arena is the only one I can throw out and I would take it. And I know it would not be popular whatsoever. But other than that, I mean, who else? Again, you're leaping off the cliff with kind
Landon
of
Donovan just got
prayer and a
fired from
hope.
his club.
Yeah, Coach Landon Donovan.
He's got fired from or let go from his Mexican club.
Ron, that's a nice jersey.
Thanks. I'm glad you like it.
Man, I got to bring it back around to that.
Move.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Oh.
Man, I don't usually fill up a notebook's worth of bleeps, but
that's the entire page.
I got a lot of bleeps. It's going to take me a little while to edit this episode tomorrow, I think. I think that wraps us up.
Yeah, more World Cup.
Gloriously.
41
continuing
more
on.
matches.
It's good.
All the way to July 15th when Saturday, July 15th is the final.
Good time to be a soccer fan. Go Iceland tomorrow.
Ooh.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that match. All right, well, gentlemen, I think it wraps us up. Follow us on the Facebook, Twitter, Brewtiful Game. Follow us on Untapped. People have been really on Untapped a ton lately. That's been awesome.
Yeah.
Instagram, go to our website, thebrutifulgame.com, where you can find us and listen to us on any way that you like to listen to podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, the new Google Podcast app is out now. You can also find us on Spotify. And if you check out at All In Sports Talk on Twitter, it'll take you to their website and you can listen to us live. Well, not live. We're not live, but we get played radio station style, I should say, along with various other soccer programs throughout every day. I think that's it. I always have to ask.
If you leave us a review,
Thank you.
which we really
yeah.
appreciate, make sure that you screen capture it. Send us an email to the Brewtiful
Tweet, whatever. Yeah.
Clark, send us a screenshot.
That last
our way.
iTunes review,
Yeah.
speaking of, reach out to us, whoever left the one
Please do.
talking about
And thank you.
Clark. Yeah. Griswold.
That was brilliant.
Because we definitely have some koozies left and maybe a magnet.
I have like 3 left.
Maybe a 2. I might have
Time
two.
for me to order new ones.
Yeah, we got to get a few more. Boom. It's a good time to be alive. World Cup. It's a blast.
Thank you for the glasses. These are fantastic.
Yeah, they're
Ron,
awesome.
Thank you for
welcome.
the scarves and the gifts. It's fantastic.
Yeah, man.
anytime.
That was awesome. All right, gentlemen. Cheers.
Kampai.
Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game. Ferris was still wrong.